Hi everyone, today we want to know more about the founder of the Adolescent and Youth Podcast.
For me, my name is Felix Mangangoma. As she said, I'm the founder of Adolescent and Youth Podcast. Thank you for having me, by the way. Again, thank you for having me.
The questions that I've prepared for you and what other people may want to know more about you. My first one is what influenced you to start your podcast?
Okay, I think I love that question because a lot of people usually ask me what really comes to your mind to start a podcast. So it's a very big scenario, but I'll try to cut it short. So what really influenced me to start a podcast? I'm very much into adolescents and youth thingy. I usually like support groups. So seeing that at my facility, the support group that we have is we have a lot of people, but we are living up a very big gap. Like others, they don't have that privilege to come to the facility or maybe to attend to one of the youth friendly groups, maybe any activity that we may have at the facility. So they share out with many services that the hospital can give and many information that the facility and also the youth friendly can offer. So I came up with this idea, say, okay, what about we started a page on Facebook, whereby nowadays a lot of youths have Facebook pages. A lot of youths are on Facebook. So when we started a page, and it's called it Adolescent and Youth Podcast. At first, I named it Youth Friendly Podcast. But after some advice, some people that give me advice, they told me, okay, let's name it Adolescent and Youth Podcast. So that's how we come out with to share knowledge to other youths and also to share awareness about HIV and STIs, drug abuse, a lot of things, and you name it. That's what we usually talk about in our podcast and also to have fun. Thank you.
All right. And my second question is why did you choose to talk about health matters on media, on your podcast? Why didn't you choose just entertainment or maybe just drama, art and everything? Why did you choose health matters on your podcast?
Thank you for that as well. Okay, why did we choose to have a content about health? When you look at in our daily living as youth especially,
Yes.
we are really shy out to, we don't have a lot of knowledge when it comes to sexual intercourses. We don't have that much knowledge of maybe what drugs can do in our bodies, like
Yes.
tobacco, for example, or maybe it can make chamba, for example. We don't have that knowledge. Say, okay, what can chamba do in your body? What can abusing drugs do in your body? Or maybe what can even a lot of knowledge about HIV. We can say here in our facility, us who have knowledge, we can say, okay, there's no stigma and discrimination out there, but there are people who are facing stigma and discrimination.
Yes.
So we use this podcast to also fight stigma and discrimination and also to fight teenage pregnancy. Yeah, there's a lot of organizations who are fighting teenage pregnancy, but still we are in a high numbers, especially Chipata, Eastern Province. We have high numbers of teenagers having pregnancy, high numbers of teenagers going to early marriages. So we use the podcast also to talk about teenage pregnancy, talk about early marriages. So choosing health is somehow also letting awareness to other youths, to those who don't have the privilege to come to the facility, to also educate them on the podcast. You can even access the knowledge on your phone through our interventions and our discussions that we usually have on the podcast.
When did you start your podcast? Which year did you start? Okay, when did you start planning about the same thing? Was it a long time thing or maybe it was just a short time?
Okay, for me, starting having the plans or maybe to start a podcast started a long time ago, but I didn't have that esteem to have it, say, okay, let me do it now, because I was somehow afraid. Yeah, when you have an idea and when you think, okay, can I do this? Or maybe am I not enough to do this? That courage, I didn't have that courage yet.
You have the courage.
But I started it I didn't have there is a lot of podcasts that I usually follow on media. So after seeing my environment, say I'm in health and adolescents, so I decided podcast, say, okay, let's talk about this so that we can also advise others and let's educate them about what we talk about health matters. Yeah.
What have you achieved so far in the year of 2024?
Wow, 2024, it has been really a really hard year. I may say hell year. But at least we have achieved a lot of things. One, we have achieved to open a podcast, a very successful one,
When did
which
you
were
open it?
like that was in early February, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, early February.
Nice.
That's when we opened the podcast by the hope of a lot of people and the advice that a lot of people have given me. Thank God. One of them, his late Raymond Tapisane, we usually post him on our media page. He's really been a helpful person throughout my life, throughout everything. So, coming to your question, uh,
What you've achieved in the
we
year of
achieved
2024. Like, what
we
have
have
you
we
achieved?
achieved to open an organization which is Health Enlightened Youth. We
Yeah.
achieved to open a podcast which is Adolescent and Youth Podcast. We achieved a lot of things. We have achieved to have a lot of followers, both our platform like on TikTok, on Facebook, YouTube. At least there's that impact to say, okay, we are
You're
doing
touching
something.
lives.
Yeah, we are doing something.
Okay.
So those are our achievements.
All right. That's nice. It's happening here in Chipata. So, what are your goals for 2025?
25.
Yes.
We are fully ready for 2025. I may say so. There's a lot of goals that we have, a lot of plans that we have put on our table here. So, first thing they go, I can say to also strengthen the organization, like our organization, which is Health United Youth. One of our focus is to focus on children who are on art, or may say on ARVs, but they don't know why they are drinking those medications. So this early 2025, I myself am going to have a journey walking to different facilities to collect data for those children aged 9 to 14 years, so that we may know how many children like we can cater through. We don't have that much resources, but through our little resources that we have, we can try to help out these other children.
Okay.
So my first goal is to first gather those children and to know how many numbers, how many people, how many children are there who are drinking ARVs and then don't know their statuses. So I'll start there. And then when it comes to the podcast, we want to reach a lot of like by the end of 2025, at least we want to reach like 1 million viewers, 1 million viewers in our podcast, and to also to be known like the whole world. You don't want to cater only Zambia, but want to cater the whole world to
Okay.
know adolescent and youth friendly podcast.
That's nice. That's nice. So, about your podcast, do you
Our podcast action plan, we want to reach a million viewers. So one, we are if you are following our podcast pages, we have implemented a lot of games, a lot of activities that we'll be doing, and we are also involved in a lot of things in different facilities and also in different communities. So by doing that, we may reach our goals faster. Yeah. So there's a lot of plans which if I started mentioning it now, it may take forever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's nice. It was nice having you here. And let me ask, is the podcast only for positive youths, or maybe it's just for everyone in general?
All right, thank you for that. I think that question is asked by a lot of people. Maybe they don't know, they just don't know who invented the podcast, so they don't know. So the podcast is not only for HIV people, As I said already, it's a adolescent and youth podcast. If it was only for HIV people to be adolescent HIV and youth podcast, but it's a globe thingy. We don't want to do stigmatize people. What this podcast that we have it is for everyone, every youth and every adolescent. That's why we invite a lot of people like in every youth, in different facilities, in different communities, because we don't want to target one side, but want to cater everyone here. So
Okay.
our podcast is not only for positive people, maybe only for negative people. It's for every youth and adolescent out there to come through. I may say stigma and discrimination. We break down my late disclosure. We break down each and every disease that can cater us addressing. That break down teenage pregnancy is a very, very, very,
Yes, the
very,
number one
very
thing,
bad thing. Like number one thing here, especially here in Eastern Province,
Chipata.
we're always there. So let's fight together. Let's hold hands together and fight these things together as one. We can use the podcast.
Okay. So people can come through.
Yeah.
When do you meet?
Mostly for the podcast, we meet at every week. It's Wednesday and Friday. And
What
then
time?
on Saturday, or Wednesday and Friday around 13.
And 13 hours.
Yeah, I
So
usually my line is mostly posted on the media, so you can just contact me or maybe give us a text in our inbox. We will surely reply. And then Wednesday and Friday that we do our podcasts, and then on Saturdays around 13 again, we usually meet as a support group, like as a youth friendly group, whereby everyone can come, whether HIV, whether not HIV.
that you should come through Pachipata Central Hospital for the meetings with the youth. You
Yeah.
even know more about the podcast. You teach if you have the ability to teach. If you have any form of art to teach anything, you can come through Pachipata Central Hospital. We are always around here, anytime, any day,
Thank you.
24/7. We are
Yeah,
working.
thank you
And
guys.
happy birthday to him in advance because tomorrow
Yeah, it's
is
my
his
birthday.
birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday.